Hello, and welcome to the Total Mind Success Podcast. I'm Dominic S. Cause. My guest today is Pat Wosterval. She is a goal coach and author of the Go-Getter's Guidebook. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dan, for having me.
Well, first of all, Pat, what exactly is a goal coach? I guess it's different from a life coach or a business coach. What exactly is a goal coach?
Well, that's a great question. As we know, there are many different kinds of coaches. One comes to mind, a health coach, a business coach, life coach. But my coaching is goal coaching, which means that we're going to laser beam on the goals and we're going to achieve them. And it seems to be awarding success for me and others.
Oh, great. Okay. So now you say that you offer people coaching specifically on goals. Let's go a little bit into the process itself. What is your process when somebody calls you up?
Sure. Well, the process first is we have a meet and greet. I like to just get to know somebody a little bit. So we have a cup of coffee and we start talking about their life in general. And we try to find out where they are, what they're doing, where they want to go. And it's just a very relaxed atmosphere. And then I ask them if they're interested in setting goals and getting on with what they want to do. And if they seem pretty excited, we set up another appointment and we really start writing our goals down. And then we go from there. I have to tell you, one young man said, "Do I have to do something?" And I said, "Well, looks like this is not for you because it definitely is an action-oriented program. I guess if he wanted to play his guitar,
okay,
which is all good too. That's a good thing."
Kind of strange, but you wonder why someone would go to a goal coach. You think that the very term implies that one would have to do something.
That's right, but you'd be surprised, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's not for everybody.
Yeah, probably not. But anyway, what are some of the strategies that you teach people to use to achieve their goals?
Well, there are a lot of strategies, Dan, and especially full of action. I always think of sort of like the Transformers action figures. We talk about motivation first. That really results in action. Like I said, we really get down to the meat and potatoes, and so we want to, first of all, write our goals down. That's the first thing we do. And after we talk about the motivation for the goals, we start talking about some other action qualities like attitude. I didn't really think that attitude was an action quality, but it really is. We have to change our attitude. Sometimes attitude will direct our abilities, and it will gain the maximum from them. And then we go into self-confidence. Self-confidence really is action-oriented. I find that when people start to take action, their confidence is boosted. And we talk about time management. That's a motivational aid as well. How you spend your time can dictate how happy and productive you are. And communication.
Okay.
There are a lot of methods that are used these days, but very important today, very full of action.
Yeah, I was just listening to a Brian Tracy program on self-discipline, and part of it included time management. What are some of your thoughts about ways we can better manage our time?
Well, first of all, we have to realize how time is so valuable. I don't know if people really think of it as a valuable thing. The old adage, time is money. I've heard the example of, say somebody gives you $10,000, and they say, okay, you have to spend that $10,000 today or else you'll have to give it back. So if you think of time in those terms, time becomes more valuable. So we really try to talk about the value of time. Okay. And under that, we have to think about just, the old basics. How about punctuality? How about chit-chatting on the phone all day? How about distractions, long lunch hours, going to Starbucks too much? So we talk about that a little bit. Also, procrastination is a big time management roadblock. And a lot of people are afraid of procrastination, but I have to say, getting back to the action qualities, Dan, if we take action, the procrastination sort of dissipates. When I had my first encounter with a goal coach, she said, "Okay, what did you do about goal 1?" And I said, "I didn't do too much about that." She said, "Well, then we'll have to go to goal 2." So I guess I procrastinated on goal 1, and so I really feel that it's not a shaming thing, but it's definitely, let's just forget about goal 1 today and we'll go on to goal 2. And also, with time management, we don't have to really project too much. When we have our goals in front of us, we can attend to them, review them, do something about them, but we actually, the biggest thing is to have them on paper so that they're there and that we know we can refer to them. But time management is a huge thing because our lives are so fast-paced today that we really have to orient ourselves towards what are we going to do today, but not in a way that's rigid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there has to be some time in there for fun. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think but maybe some people put too much fun. I understand that there's been studies done that the average American watches something like 7 hours of TV per day.
Absolutely. That's the plugged-in drug. I've done a lot of research on TV, and very passive operation, and it's the killer. I don't have a TV. I haven't had a TV in 8 years, and so I don't miss it. But anyway, but that's not for everybody.
Yeah, well, I still watch some TV, but not nearly as much as I used to because...
yeah, well, I do sneak in sometimes.
Yeah, it can become a time suck. What are some other time management tools that you mentioned, like skipping lunches and things of that nature, or taking long lunch breaks in Starbucks?
Well, yeah, that's also just it's very valuable, time is to us in achieving our goals. So we have to just think about distractions, interruptions. And there's nothing wrong with a long lunch. I lived in France. They love 2-hour lunches, but I don't think it's the American way. But I really feel that, I just try to plan my day. Maybe that's more what I'm trying to talk about. Like, if I have a lot to do in a day, I might take 45 minutes for lunch, not an hour and a half. It's just really managing your time. Just think of your day as a puzzle, and then you put the pieces together. I find people always telling me, Dan, I don't have time, I can't do this, I can't do that. I hear that a lot, and I say, how is that possible? I'm getting everything done, but I've looked at my day, and I put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and we don't have to do everything in a day, but we really have to prioritize, and it works like a charm, and that's what we go over in the goal setting, because one of my clients working too much, and I said, well, how is that working for you? I mean, it's just a matter of planning, and that's what the goal setting is all about. We cover every base.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about self-confidence, because you mentioned that how action can lead to self-confidence. Let's talk about building that up as well.
Yes.
How do you build up self-confidence?
Well, I always say, too, along with my process, that they have to read at least one self-help book during the process. So say self-confidence is a problem for somebody. I'm starting to have a little bit of a question about this self-confidence question myself, Dan, because I find that when my clients start doing things, their confidence really goes up. In other words, it's something that everybody's telling us that we have to have, right? You have to have self-confidence, self-confidence, self-confidence. And when you move into action, that actually fosters self-confidence, because when you use your time and abilities, you start to proceed. And then when you finish a task, say that is very much related to your goal, you get a surge of energy. And so for some reason, none of my clients have a problem with self-confidence. They may at the beginning because they're too afraid, or they think they're afraid. Oh, I can't do this. I said, well, we're going to do it, so write it down. And then we start doing it, and then they say, oh, I feel so good. My client just finished a book. She finished a book. It's been a long life dream of hers. But her self-confidence would boost every time she finished a chapter. So I really do believe that the action is in there. Of course, some more slowly than others. I have to say that not everybody is, a shooting star. I also talk about others' opinions and perceptions where you're very much affected by that. So, when you're constantly listening to people say, well, I don't know why you're going to do that, or what are you going to do that for? Are you going to go where? When I moved to New York, they said, you're going to go where? I moved here from Houston. I sold my house. My kids went to college, and I moved here without a job. And it's been my lifelong dream to live in New York City. I've wanted to live here since I was about 10 years old. I came here for vacation, and I said to my mother and dad, I'm moving to New York. And they said, well, in a few years maybe. And so the thing is that a lot of people thought that it was too far away, too expensive. You're not going to get a job. Where are you going to live? And so if we listen to these opinions and perceptions from others, that is a confidence crusher, I believe. So we have to be very careful about sharing a lot of our dreams. We can give them a little piece of the pie, but sometimes if we go around telling everybody what we're doing, we are going to get a lot of different opinions, and that may have an effect on our self-confidence. Okay?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you do have to be careful. There are
Yes.
dream crushers out there. Some of them
Yes.
don't mean it, but
No.
they're using their own fears or trapped in them and project them onto you. But people can be dream crushers if you let them.
Yes,
well,
and also you have to address your own needs in the middle of all this, which also gives you some self-confidence. I think sometimes, our confidence can get pretty pushed down a little bit when we're taking care of too many other things other than what we have to do ourselves. We can have a balance there.
Yeah, we do need to nurture ourselves. Well, Pat, there's a lot of good information here. Tell people how to reach you and where they can find your website.
Yes, my website is www.gogetternyc.com, and they can see all about my book on that website, and my email is on the website as well, and I'm on Twitter and Facebook, so they can find me there.
Okay, what's your Twitter handle?
I think it's gogetternyc.com.
Okay, didn't mean to put you on the spot, but give you a little extra plug there. So anyway,
thank you.
We've been listening to Pat. First of all, thank you for being a guest on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Dan.
Okay. We've been listening to Pat Wosterwall, a goal coach and author of the Go-Getter's Guidebook. Please pick up her book and help make your dreams come true. You're listening to the Total Mind Success Podcast. My name is Donnie. Please listen again.